Hello and welcome with me, Winter Android, to another video of Weekly Android, which this week I guess the anime I'm talking about is Apocalypse Hotel, which honestly I think is mostly just a slice of life anime kind of. Not the typical one, of course, but yeah, focus on these robots that are basically still running this hotel 100 years after humanity left Earth and probably also died. In which, of course, you eventually got aliens showing up and basically just their customers at this point. Though we haven't actually seen that many aliens, I think, to be honest. It's mostly just been this Tanuki family that just showed up after crash landing on Earth and has just stuck around. But yeah, so far, since the first episode, we've already gone through a few hundred more years, with episode 7 alone going through 70 years with them building a rocket so they could send a satellite up to space, along with a Rod of God. Yeah. But all that's there ended up resulting in Yachio getting stranded in space due to a solar flare, so yeah. I have no doubts that's all going to be solved. Yachio is going to be completely safe and all of that. Because I just don't see it being that kind of anime that all of a sudden take a turn like that. But yeah, honestly, surprisingly enjoyable. Didn't actually expect much from it initially, to be honest. But it is definitely good. One of the more unique anime, to say the least, of this season, I think. That's for sure. And also, there's another thing with this, with Yachio basically having these secret functions that she can unlock by doing things. Mostly things that she's not really supposed to do, like assaulting a customer, or drinking on the job. Yeah, got different things like that. If I remember correctly, there was also another one that was unlocked at the end of this previous episode with her getting stranded in space. It's like, why does she have a secret task of being stranded in space that unlocks a new function? Why is that a thing? But yeah, it's slice life, a bit of comedy as well, of course, with stuff like that there in it. But that there is basically all I really have to say for Apocalypse Hotel, I guess, to be honest. So moving on to Azur Lane, which is the only other thing I really have to talk about this week, which this update has basically went and added a story flow map to the game. Apparently, the story has gotten so complicated to this point that they went and added a flow map for the darn thing. But yeah, this week I kind of went through and read the rest of the events that I had missed and stuff. And on Wednesday, I ended up going through the entirety of the Abyssal Refrain event, along with a virtual tower, and then finished off what I had left to the Midsummer Return event that's currently going on, with the last two reconstructions on it there. Then I also went through and read the entire story for the A Rose on the High Tower events we currently have going on. Which, that event alone, going through that story, took me like 3 fucking hours to read. Which I think is basically how long it took me to read the Abyssal Refrain Virtual Tower and possibly the last 2 bits of the reconstruction for the Midsummer Return thing. Seriously, I have no idea why it took me so long to get through the story for this event, but I'm guessing it's just that every bit of the story there was just a lot longer than normal. All of them actually were a decent length, none of them were just super short or anything. But yeah, after kind of spending last week just going through a bunch of those events that I had missed and reading the whole story and everything, I can easily say that it's much better to actually read the stories back to back, because it is just so much easier to actually rip what has happened previously. It's just so much easier to remember everything that's actually been going on and everything in the story. But yeah, with this event here, we basically got 3 different worlds going on involved in this at the same time. First of all, you of course have Site Beta, our world in it, and then you got Lion's world, in which they apparently have already defeated the Satyrs, in which somehow Queen Elizabeth, King George V, and Belfast apparently all died during that war, and on top of that, there aren't even any illustrations of Elizabeth, and is only basically mentioned in the history books by name. So yeah, I'm just saying, quotation marks on them defeating the Satyrs, because that's exactly what the Satyrs wanted, or whatever. Everything played out exactly how they wanted, and they're just now lurking around, and from what I can tell, Lion's probably trying to go and get control of the Arctic to deal with the Satyrs lurking down there. But yeah, then you also have the third world here, which is Glorious Meta's world, that sent this distress signal that they're all responding to, which took 130 years for anyone to actually receive that distress signal. So of course the world had already been completely destroyed by these extra dimensionals that were attacking it, which were also apparently such a large threat that all the world's factions fought alongside the Satyrs to try to defeat them. So yeah, during this event you actually have Satyr support in the missions. Though that's mostly because somehow the commander, along with Miss D and her whale, end up getting transported over to that world as well when they're not supposed to be there, and telling them it basically assigns an employer to protect the commander during all that, cause whole emergency and everything. But yeah, things are definitely kind of getting interesting, that is for sure. Though I don't really know what kind of direction the story is really going in right now. It kind of feels like it's slowly getting closer and closer to the climax of the story or something. But I really have no idea how far away that actually is at this point. Considering you got the Arbiters that need to be dealt with, you got the extra dimensionals that are probably going to be attacking eventually. So yeah, and then you got all these other test sites and everything that are somehow also connected to the story that we're going to be seeing more of in the future, most likely. So, it's just, yeah, things are just getting very complicated in all honesty. I feel like making it hard to actually figure out exactly what direction the story is really going to be going. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have to mention there. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week, considering I don't have anything to mention when it comes to War Thunder, to be honest, or World of Warships. So yeah, that's there is the end of this video here. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.